glTF volume extension. Volume is an extension that works with glTF's core physically based rendering model. In the real world, the volume of a material can cause effects like refraction, absorption, and scattering of light. Refraction is when light changes direction as it passes the border between two transparent substances. For example, when light rays exit the surface of water and enter the air, the rays are bent. Think of the difference in appearance between a thin pane of glass and a crystal ball. These two materials refract light differently because the volume of material enclosed between the surface where the light enters and the surface where it exits is greater in the crystal ball than it is in the thin glass pane. By default, glTF considers surfaces as enclosing an infinitely thin volume, which would not refract light. glTF's volume extension makes it possible for a surface to enclose a volume and for light to be refracted by it, as seen in the crystal ball example. The volume extension only comes into effect when light can penetrate a surface, so volume is used in conjunction with the transmission extension, which allows light rays to pass through a surface. Transmission is covered in detail in another video in this series. Search for glTF transmission. As with other PBR extensions, volume provides several parameters corresponding to real-world physical properties. The parameter called thickness indicates that material enclosed by a surface has a thickness. If the value is 0, the material is infinitely thin. Otherwise, the material enclosed by the surface has thickness, and therefore volume. Different materials in the real world refract light with varying degrees. Given the same thickness, a glass material refracts light differently to a volume of water. We can use a concept known as the index of refraction, or IOR, to indicate this value for a given material. To do this, glTF uses the KHR material's IOR extension. By default, the glTF material model uses a fixed value of 1.5 for the index of refraction. You'll be able to see how this is applied later in the hands-on section of this video. The thickness of a volume enclosed by a surface mesh can be difficult to compute. glTF strives to support both faster real-time paths and slower, physically correct path tracing methods. Because it's often used in real-time applications which demand speedy calculations, the glTF volume extension allows for the thickness of the material to be baked into a pre-calculated map called the thickness texture. The thickness texture is multiplied with the thickness parameter. White pixels tell the renderer where the material's thickness is at its maximum. Black pixels indicate 0 thickness, and therefore 0 distance through the volume. An infinitely thin volume is not physically accurate. Black pixels would indicate areas where no volume is present, so they're best avoided on a thickness texture. When using a thickness texture, set the value of the thickness parameter to correspond to the thickest part of the model. These areas will have the brightest pixels on the map. Adjust the value of the darkest pixels to be a percentage of the thickness parameter. For example, if the thickness parameter was set to a value of 10 cm, then the brightest areas on the map would be 10 cm thick, while dark grey areas that show only 10% of that brightness would be 1 cm thick. Attenuation distance and attenuation colour are parameters borrowed from real-world physics, describing how a volumetric medium interacts with light to determine its appearance. Thicker parts of coloured glass are darker than thinner parts. Attenuation simulates the reduction of the intensity of light as it travels through a coloured translucent material. The further the light rays travel, the more they're absorbed by coloured particles inside the glass, which causes the colour to become darker. Attenuation distance is the depth in meters where the attenuation colour is fully achieved. As light rays reach this distance, they're darkened towards the attenuation colour. Just as the thickness texture is a multiplier for the thickness parameter, it is also a multiplier for the attenuation distance. This means that the white pixels will correspond to the full attenuation distance, creating a darker refraction, while dark pixels correspond to the areas that show less intense colour. The volume extension is compatible with the core PBR shading model in glTF, but it's not compatible with other shading models such as unlit. However, it can still be used alongside other PBR parameters. Let's see how to use volume in Blender.
Applying the volume extension to a glTF model is straightforward. I'll show you how to do this in Blender using the Suzanne model. I've chosen this model, which is available in Blender because it has parts where it's quite thick and other parts where it's relatively thin. The effects of volume are most clearly seen with models that vary in this way. Let's see how this works. Firstly, I'm going to open up an opaque glTF model of Suzanne. I go to File in the main menu, then Import glTF 2.0, find where I've saved my models for this video and choose this one, Suzanne 1 Opaque. Next, I set my render mode to preview. Then I want to add an environment texture that will show best the effect of the extension. I'll do this by opening World Properties, click the dot next to the color option and choose Environment Texture from the menu of texture types. Then I click Open, and among my bookmarked environments, I'll choose one with lots of straight lines that will get refracted quite nicely. Now I need to switch to shading view and update the render mode to preview again. If your model disappears, just go to View in the Viewer window and choose Frame Selected. Before applying the extension, I need to set a couple of options in Blender to get the best results. Firstly, I'll click Render Properties and in the Render Engine drop-down, choose Cycles instead of the default Eevee, which improves volumetric previewing in Blender. But we're going to use Blender's exporter with a web-based viewer to provide the most accurate rendering of the volume extension's effect on our models. Secondly, I want to go to Edit in the main menu and choose Preferences. In the Add-ons tab, search for glTF and make sure that the Shader Editor Add-ons option here is ticked. Now that's done, let's look at the shading pipeline. The principal BSDF node in Blender combines multiple PBR shading layers into a single, easy-to-use node. The first thing to do when applying volume is to turn on transmission by setting its value to 1. This makes our opaque model transmissive to light and appear glassy. Transmission is covered in detail in another video in this series. Search for glTF transmission. It's worth seeing how this looks in a web-based viewer before we add volume. To export this model to a glTF file, I'll go to File, Export, and choose glTF 2.0 and overwrite this file called test for now. Then drag it into a viewer. You can see that it is totally transparent, and if we look at the model over a background, we can see that there is no distortion of the background within the model, so that it looks ghostly and without substance. How can we make this transparent model appear like it has volume? In the shader pipeline, I'll go to Add, Output, glTF Material Output and create a new node. This node isn't a native Blender node and only becomes available when glTF Shader Editor Add-ons is ticked, as I showed earlier. However, the node is recognized by the Blender glTF exporter. I'm going to add some thickness to the model. Let's start with 0.005. Depending on the model, the rendering can be very sensitive to this value. Let's look at this in a web-based viewer. File, Export, glTF 2.0, overwrite my test file and drag it into the viewer. Now you can see the model appears to have substance because of the way the light from the background is refracted within the model as I move it around. Back in Blender, if I increase that thickness value slightly to 0.025 and look at the difference that makes when we export the glTF to a web-based viewer, we can see that the refraction is much more noticeable and our model appears to have more volume to it. A better way to get this effect is to use a texture instead of a single value for thickness. To do this, I'll go to Add, Texture, Image Texture, then on the node click Open and choose a thickness map that I've already made called thickness.png. We can see it here. The white areas of the texture map correspond to those parts of the model with maximum volumetric thickness, while the darker areas of the map correspond to relatively thinner parts of the model, depending on how close to black they appear. Because it's not really color that we're interested in, but rather a value between 0 and 1, I'm going to change the color space option on the node from sRGB to non-color. Then I click Add, Converter, Separate Color to split the channel and hook up the color output from the thickness map to the color input on the separate color node. To convert the map value to numerical values that the glTF material output node can understand, we need to add a math node. I click Add, Converter, Math, and in the new node I click on Add and choose Multiply from the options. Then I hook up the color output from the separate color node to the upper value input on the multiply node. We want to multiply the values coming from the thickness map by the maximum thickness that we think will work for our model. So I change the lower value input on the node to 0.025, the value that gave us a good result before, and hook up the value output on the multiply node to the thickness input on the glTF material output node. How does this look in a web-based viewer? File, Export, glTF 2.0, overwrite my test file, and drag into the viewer. It looks quite similar, but now we're getting more refraction in the thicker parts of the model, in the eyes, say, and much less refraction in the thinner parts, like the ears. This is what you would expect to happen in the real world. Finally, I want to add an attenuation factor which will change the intensity of color of our model depending on the volumetric thickness of its different parts. To do this, I'll click Add, Shader, Volume Absorption. This is a regular Blender node, so we can connect it to our normal shader pipeline. I'll hook up the volume output on the volume absorption node to the volume input on the material output node. On the volume absorption node, I'll choose a color for the model, like this blue, and add a value for density. Let's try 40. A higher value corresponds to a shorter attenuation distance. This is equivalent to the material being denser, so less light travels through it, making it appear darker. How does this look in a viewer? File, Export, glTF 2.0, overwrite my test file and drag into the viewer. Now you can see that the model has a blue hue. The depth of color is amplified where the model is thickest, around the eyebrows for instance, but the color lightens where the model's volume is thinnest, such as its ears. Let's go back to Blender and change the density value to see what difference that makes. I'll change the value to 10. If I export this version, we can see that we still get lighter areas and darker areas where the color is attenuated, depending on the volumetric thickness. But the model is lighter overall, because it's less dense and more light can pass through it. So now you have an idea of the interesting things you can do using the volume extension with glTF. I recommend that you check out our other videos in this series. Search for glTF clear codes or glTF transmission.
glTF's volume extension enables you to create the effect of light being refracted as it passes through a volumetric medium. Volume is designed to enable such complex effects within real-time rendering applications. Using it can help you create photorealistic 3D assets.